Hello everybody and welcome to another episode. In today's episode I am going to show you how to replace the front brake disc along with the front brake pads from any Audi A4, B8 out there. So today I'm working on this car and the parts which I'm going to install on the car are those. Right here I have the front brake disc made by AUDI, and also the front brake pads which I'm going to install on the car are also made by AUDI, because in my opinion this is the best manufacturer which you can choose on your normal car. To begin this job, what you have to do first is to lift the car up in the air, and also don't forget to place a jack stand underneath to support the weight of the vehicle. For example, in my case I lifted both of the front wheels up, but probably in your case, if you don't have another jack or if you don't have two jack stands, I recommend you all to only lift it from one side and work on the side and finish it, and after that you can go ahead and lift it on the other side and so on. There is no need to lift the complete front of the vehicle up. You can always just lift one side and finish the job, and after that you can move to the other side. Okay everybody, so after remove the front wheel from the car, you'll have to go right here on the caliper and you'll have to check for this rattle spring, and you'll have to remove it using a flat screwdriver. You can push it from underneath and it will come out from its place. After that, what you have to do is to go right here behind the caliper and you'll have to check for these two rubber pieces. You'll have one at the top and one at the bottom, and you'll have to remove this plastic cap from each one, because this plastic cap it's covering the little screw which is securing the caliper mounted to the caliper mounting bracket. And to remove the little screws which are securing the caliper mounted to the caliper mounting bracket, you'll have to use an M7. After that, you'll have to remove the brake disc by removing the little screw which is securing the brake disc mounted to the hub, and then you'll have to remove this cable from behind it. This cable is from the brake pad wear sensor and is connected to one cable which is going into the car. From here, just follow what I'm doing. In my case, I always like to turn the wheel into the opposite direction, because in this way it will create more space to work with and it will be a little bit easier to work in this tight spot. So to remove the caliper a little bit easier from the car, I recommend all to take a flat screwdriver and you'll have to push it between the caliper and between the brake disc, and you'll have to pull towards you and towards the exterior of the car, and in this way the piston will be pushed back inside the caliper. And even if you don't have a special tool to help you to push the piston back into the caliper, if you use this trick, if you take a flat screwdriver and pull it like I'm doing right here, the piston will be pushed inside the caliper and you don't have to worry about it later. And also in this way the caliper will come a lot easier from the caliper mounting bracket. After that, as you can see, you'll have to remove the brake pad from inside it, And I recommend all to not let the caliper hang on the brake line, because due to the weight of the caliper, in some cases it can break the brake line and you'll have a lot of problems to fix on the car. In my opinion, I always like to use a metal strip like this. This is a special metal part, and I use it to hold the caliper mounted to the spring or to the shock absorber, and in this way it will support the weight of it and I will not have to worry about anything breaking from the car. With all of these things being said, the next step which you have to do is to remove the brake disc from the hub. And to remove the brake disc, you'll have to remove the little screw. You'll have to use a Torx 30 to remove the little screw, and in some cases this little screw, it's a very difficult one, because probably the previous owner or the mechanic which worked on the car tightened it too much, and in some cases you can't remove it. In some cases you have to drill it out because it's stuck inside, or because of the rust and the threads will break, and in some cases this can be a nightmare. But in my case, for example, as also it came out pretty easy. I always like to tap it with the hammer. I like to give it a few shocks, and in this way probably it will help it to come a little bit easier. After that, as you can see, the brake disc is stuck to the hub, but I like to use a hammer and hammer it until it's coming out. In my case, for example, I don't have to worry about damaging the brake disc, because I will replace it anyway. But in your case, for example, if you don't replace the brake disc, I recommend all to not hammer it where the brake pads will touch it. It's okay to hammer it on the hub, but don't hammer it on the corners. After that, you'll have to remove those two bigger bolts which are securing the caliper mounting bracket to the hub, because unless you remove the caliper mounting bracket, the brake disc will not come out, because there is no enough space to let it come out from the hub. And from here you'll have to use a 21mm socket. You'll have to remove the two bigger bolts like I told you earlier, and you'll have to remove it completely out from the vehicle. And because of that, I always like to clean it very good. I like to make it as smooth as possible, because in this way the brake pad will slide very easy back and forth, and I'll have no problems in the future with it. As you can see, the brake disc in my case is looking like this. It's not in a very bad condition, but I decided to replace it anyway because I had some vibrations while I was braking. So as you can see, this is how the hub is looking. I recommend all, before installing the new brake pads and brake disc on the car, you'll have to clean the hub area very good. You'll have to make it as smooth as possible, and after that you'll have to clean also the caliper mounting bracket. And as you can see, in my case, I cleaned everything very good. I used a wire brush and the drilling machine, and everything is looking like new right now. And also, I always like to spray some copper spray, because it will prevent them from getting stuck to each other in time, and also it will prevent them to rust. From here, the installation method is exactly the same as for the installation. You have to put everything back together as it was before, and from here just look what I'm doing, because everything is exactly the same as you remove them. Right here with the caliper, let's say for example that I didn't use the trick with the flat screwdriver, and because I have a tool like this, I will use it. And this tool is specially made to help you push the piston back into the caliper. It has a lot of sizes for any type of caliper, and you have to put it like this. And after that you'll have to rotate it clockwise until the piston will be pushed completely inside the caliper. You'll have to rotate it by hand, and when you feel that it's not going anymore, you'll have to stop, because the piston is completely pushed inside it. After that, from here, all you have to do is to take some brake cleaner. You'll have to clean it very good, and after that you can go ahead and install the brake pads back on it. And to install the brake pad on this type of caliper, you'll have to put it like this. For example, the brake pad, it's having some metal parts inside it, and you'll have to put those metal parts inside the piston. All the metal parts must go inside the piston, and only after that you can go ahead and put it back on the caliper mounting bracket and install everything like it was before. Don't forget to put the brake pad wear sensor behind the caliper, and in this way you'll have to connect it later to the sensor. After that, you'll have to go ahead and install the 2 screws which are securing the caliper mounted to the caliper mounting bracket. And I don't recommend you to lubricate them, because if you do lubricate those kind of screws, it will weaken the bushing from the caliper, and in time the caliper will bounce up and down, left and right, and this is not good for braking, so just take that in mind. Alright everybody, so as you can see, I'm almost done with replacing the front brake pads and the brake disc on this car, and the only thing left to do in my case is to install the rattle spring on the caliper. But as you can see, this is how the final job is looking. This is how everything is installed and mounted back on the car, and also this is how you should be installing them on your car. Also, I recommend all to buy some copper spray and spray it like I did in this video. You'll have to put it over the hub and over the brake disc, because in this way it will prevent them from getting rusted, and it will also help you to remove them a little bit easier in time. And in the last, don't forget to install back the rattle spring from the caliper. You'll have to push it in the little holes, and you'll have to tap it with something to make it fit in the place. Thank you for watching. This is how to replace the front brake pads along with the front brake disc on any Audi A4 B8 out there. Doesn't matter which car you are using this method is exactly the same for any car out there. If you like this video and found it informative, please leave a like and a comment down below. See you next time.